Irvine, California was just ranked number 3 in the entire country for the best places to raise a family. WalletHub just did a survey. They went through 180 different cities and ranked them over 5 different categories to figure out which city in the United States is the best for families. Irvine is number 3. So I'm going to give you the context from this report, but also through my eyes as a real estate professional that my team and I have helped over 1,000 people move all over Southern California and a ton of people in Irvine. So let's dive right in. Irvine on this list is number 3, meaning one of the best in the entire country to raise a family. And I agree, being in Orange County, helping 1,000 people move all over Southern California, and a lot of those people in Irvine, even a larger percentage of those people wanted to move to Irvine and ended up choosing somewhere else. So in this video, I'm going to break this down. I want to share my screen here and walk through this to show WalletHub. Now, they ranked this based on 5 different categories, and they did a ton of research on this, but the 5 categories are family fun, health and safety, education and childcare, affordability, and socioeconomic. So those are the 5 different categories they used to rank all these different cities. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is the map that they gave us here. So this is showing where the different cities fell on the ranking. So Fremont was number 1, 2 is Overland Park, no idea where that's at, and number 3 is in Irvine. Honorable mention to 20 being Huntington Beach, which is a little bit of a surprise to be quite honest, but let's go ahead and roll down this list. So how is this ranked? Irvine being number 3 had family and fun rank at 11th. Health and safety was the number 1, which that's really not surprising to be honest. Education and childcare at number 4, also not surprising at all. Affordability was at 71. I had to almost pause the video when I read this because I'm like, that doesn't really make sense, especially when you look at some of the other cities on here. The reason that this shocked me, maybe I'll touch in a second. Socioeconomic was 6. The reason that affordability shocked me until I looked at how they were calculating it is they basically go median income of the city by what it costs to live there. So overall, people that live in Irvine make a lot of money and it's expensive. So the affordability ranking is not like just the most expensive places are ranked high. It's the median income versus median price point. So like relative to how much money people make, how expensive is it? So actually Irvine's right in the middle, which I find that fascinating. So let's go through each one of these categories in a little bit more detail. The first one I'm gonna talk about is health and safety. So to go over this, I'm actually gonna scroll all the way down in this report because they wrote a little blurb about the top 3. So you can read through I'll link this in the description below as well too. But they explained how did all the rankings basically, which was way more in depth than I would have thought. And then the other thing they did was they talked about each of the top 3. So Fremont was number 1, number 2, and then here's Irvine. It is the 3rd best place to raise a family, and it is the 2nd lowest violent crime rate per capita, as well as the 15th lowest property crime rate per capita. This combined with a low traffic fatality rate can help children stay safe. So again, this is all in the lens of, is it a good place to raise a family? So in addition, Irvine is a great place to be for child's education. It's one of the 3rd highest percentage of schools, the 7 out of 10 rating. I'm going to touch on that in a second. Over 82%, along with the 8th high school graduation rate in the entire country. Finally, Irvine is the 10th highest share of 2-parent families, which I found super interesting. The 2nd lowest separation rate and divorce rate in the country, both of which promote a positive social development among children. I find that amazingly fascinating because one of the big stats in divorce that's thrown around is Newport has like a 50 something, almost 60% divorce rate. So to know that Irvine is actually significantly like one of the lowest in the country, I thought it was a little bit interesting there. So the second thing that I wanted to touch on here was the schools. So the education and childcare, this is not surprising. We talk about this all the time. Irvine's known for having some of the best schools, period. But we always like to go to GreatSchools.com, and you could just look at the map here, as this is just showing the top however many schools in Irvine, and they're all, literally every single list on the first page is a 10 out of 10. Okay, we have to go to the second page to find our 9 out of 10s. Not that 9 out of 10 is a bad school, right? We're going way down the list here, going to the 3rd page. This would be like going to the 3rd page of Google, which nobody's ever done in the history of the planet, to find not so good schools. So this is one of the main drivers for people looking in Irvine. And if I head over to our website here, onyxhomes.com, I'm going to click the map search, and I'm just going to pick a listing in Irvine because I want to show you, we put this on our website so that we make your life a little bit easier. So let's say you're looking for this $3.8 million house. The house itself doesn't necessarily matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down And in the listing details, because we have all the information you could ever want on the property, is we have the Great Schools section right here. So we pull directly from. So this particular house, if you were to buy 1231 Whispering Rock for 3.8 million bucks, Orchard Hills would be your high school, and you're ranked 10 out of 10, and you can see why it's ranked 10 out of 10 with all the different information, how it's ranked, and blah, blah, blah. So this is something that's on all of our listings. They will all just say above average because we're not really supposed to talk about schools too much. So we can just say above average, below average, whatever. But if you click on it, it'll show you exactly what schools it is and all the information directly on Great School. So I just wanted to share that with you as well too. If you ever want to reach out and schedule a tour, you can simply just click the button here, drop your information, and our client care team will reach out. We'll schedule a tour, no cost, no obligation. We offer what we call free touring services. So we basically will show you whatever you want for the first week, and we use that as a way of showing what it looks like to work with us before we ever ask for any type of commitment. But anyway, back into the video. So we talk a little bit about education. I don't think it's any surprise that Irvine has fantastic schools. I think one thing that people might not be super familiar with are the different neighborhoods that are within Irvine. So one thing that most people aren't maybe super familiar with in Irvine is that there's a lot of different cities that have different feels, different vibes, different styles. And let's break down a couple of different ones. So you have like Woodbridge, for example, is built around 2 man-made lakes. I've got the listings pulled up here. And you've got a little bit older homes, right? So built in 1985, 1980. So built roughly in the late 70s, mid 80s is where most of Woodbridge is built. So a little bit older community. I'll say all of the things for Irvine remain. So I'm not just going to say good schools and say for all of these because that's kind of irrelevant, meaning that they're all good like that. So Woodbridge is right on the 405. You're central to closer to South Orange County. You're far enough away from the airport. You're not having too much airport noise. So it's very suburban as well too. Now the next one I'm going to talk about is Northwood. So Northwood is not too far away from Woodbridge. It's a little bit farther east. You're getting closer to the 241 toll road and the canyon leading towards the Inland Empire. But Northwood is going to be a little bit newer build. So you got 1989, 85, 78, 97. So there's some newer homes there. There's not a whole lot in the market because it's not that big of an area. You're also very suburban as well too, but you're also a little bit farther away from kind of the mix. Woodbridge is in a really central location, especially if you want to be a little bit more coastal. You're just a little bit farther away in Northwood. Now back to going a little bit closer to the ocean is Turtle Rock. Now Turtle Rock is way more coastal. You're really almost bordering up on Newport Coast. Turtle Rock is also a little bit older as well too. These are 1987, 1985. This is where you're getting into some much higher end homes, at least the opportunity possibility for it as well too. You can see some in the $5 or $6 million range where you're getting some large houses, 6,000 square feet on a decent amount of land as well too. You're starting to get some beautiful views. Turtle Rock is also very conveniently located between the 405 and the 73. You're also very close to UCI as well too. Lots of benefits there. Now, 2 other neighborhoods that I'll mention in Irvine are more central. So we got Great Park, which is enormous, and it's right in the heart of the south side of Irvine. And it's new, like pretty much brand new construction, right? If we're looking at a $2 million house here, 4 beds, 4 baths, almost 3,000 square feet. And this is built in 2019. So this is newer construction as well too. There is still brand new construction being built there as well too. I would say Portola Springs also falls into this category as well too. You're just getting farther and farther east. There is newer construction generally out to the east is where the new construction still is. Typically farther to the west is some of your older construction as we've looked at as well too. Now, overall, what does this ranking mean for Irvine? Well, it doesn't change anything obviously because it has earned its ranking. And this is spot on, I have to say. For the rankings to be received, the one thing that I was a little baffled by was the affordability on this list, that it was like in the middle. But the reason is because people that live in Irvine have really high incomes. Generally speaking, it's very true. There's a lot of very high income earners that move to Irvine because of all the other reasons. So the median home price in Irvine is $1.55 million. And a huge part of the reason that that isn't higher is there's a lot of townhomes. There's a lot of condos in Irvine that will keep that number, I don't want to say artificially low, but there's a lot of affordable places. I mean, there's affordable. There's a lot of 2 and 3 bedroom townhomes that keep that median price lower. Because when you get into the single family side, you're probably in that $2 million, like Getting a single family for that median home price of 1.5 isn't super easy in Irvine. Is it possible? Yeah, for sure. But you're not for sure going to get a single family at the median home price. Whereas in another city that compares to Irvine, like Mission Viejo, for example, we just did a video on this right before this, median home price is 1.2, and you're almost for sure getting a single family home for that price. So that's a little bit of the trade-offs. Are there negatives to Irvine? Of course there are. If you want an area that has more character, more charm, Irvine's probably not going to be it. It's criticized as being very cookie cutter, which is okay if that's not a big deal for you. Also, if you don't want HOAs or anything like that, you're unlikely to like Irvine at all as well too. There's not tons of trade-offs in Irvine if Irvine's a place you would consider living, other than it's expensive. I hate to say this because Irvine's not a place that I personally would want to live, but it checks a lot of boxes for a lot of people, and it has a lot of different benefits to it. And for example, my office, like I live in Mission Viejo, my office is in Laguna Hills right now. We will be relocating to Irvine because it's more central. I feel like for our agents, we will be able to serve them better by being in a more central location, which will be in Irvine. So there's a lot of benefits to it if it's a good place for you. And if you're a young family, I absolutely think you should check it out. Now, instead of just going through a full pros and cons in this video, I already made that video and it's right over here for you. So this is going to be the pros and cons of Irvine. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.